Welcome back to Digital Devil Saga. Last time we met Johnny, the greatest NPC of all time, at least in this universe. We went over Cielo and Roland, went through this part of the internment facility, got our first field hunts, and now it's time to find out the true purpose of the internment facility. And it ain't pretty. That's an understatement. We'll be blessedly free of random encounters for a while, but, let's just say that'll be the least of our worries. A strange sound is coming from the other side. Well, let's open it. What could possibly go wrong? Well, that music doesn't sound good. Yeah, if you want to find out how they got bodies in this world, I think you need to read the tie-in novel, as I said earlier. Well, even interrupting your own... Like, you didn't even let me advance the text, you just entered the battle with your own. I would do... I don't even know what this guy would sound like. Like, I'm just trying to think. Like, any voice that I can come up with would probably sound too cheesy. We'll get this awesome music again, so surely this is going to go well for us. Or we could just get auto-paralyzed. Do not pass go, do not collect $200 for buying more mantras. Yes, we can see that. This is a line, definitely. Cannibalism doesn't appeal to many humans, especially apparently not even demonized ones. So, yeah. This place is a processing facility and an internment camp where the people who defy the Karma Society get literally ground up and turned into food. And that kind of explains the purpose of that machine that Cielo got bad vibes from. So now, we need to find another prisoner who's actually a mole for us. He'll ask about the weather, tell him about the unbearable solar noise, and he'll let you in. Oh, please don't Kapura me. So, from now on, this Lokapala member will always unlock this cell. So now, we need to run away from the jailer himself. I generally like to just examine every cell until I hit the right one. If he's close, he will start dashing at you, which can get a little scary. Also, I like to get these cell doors on my map. And again, thankfully no random encounters here. Don't worry, we'll get you all out once we deal with the jailer. Okay, that's the exit to the next floor. We'll need that later. None of these people are asking about the weather. Well, that's pretty dark. Where are you? Okay, he's in the middle. That's fine. How's the weather today? Unbearable solar noise. Nothing's changed. Stop asking. Probably not a lot of that kind of meat around. To the west side. He'll ask you what's for dinner. Answer back, canned surprise. I can't believe how, like, the first one asked, did you get all that? So the correct answer to make him not repeat himself is yes. This guy asked, do you need to hear that again? It almost feels like they're trying to troll speedrunners. And yeah, you can't actually get to the next floor until you meet this guy. Where are you, jailer? Yep, he's there. Okay, he's going around that way. He's pretty easy to dodge for now. emphasis on for now. We need to go through a few rounds of this. Also, don't worry too much about getting caught by him. It doesn't really do much. Let's just say this area runs on Zelda logic of you get thrown in an easy to escape from cell. There is no limit to the number of times you can get captured by this guy. It's totally fine. Like, don't worry at all. He won't, like, insta-kill you or anything. Well, actually, that's kind of a lie. He will get one free turn in if he catches you, and sometimes he will kill a party member. Usually, he just uses Black Bind again. I can really see this being scary, though, for people who are on their first playthrough. So this floor has some gates here that are blocking parts of the floor, so it's a little tricky to escape from the jailer. Especially this area, which is a dead end. I definitely want to get out of here as soon as possible. Oh, here we go. What's for dinner tonight? Can surprise. So, yeah, we need to go down one more cell. Basement 3. Throw it into the meat processing machine on the first floor. Go to the control room and turn on the power. No. Yes, it will indeed be gruesome, but when we find out what we're actually going to be feeding him, let's just say it'll be very satisfying to anybody who's got themselves a stomachache in the first game. But now things are a little bit trickier. We have these black vortexes going around, and if we step in one of them, we will be temporarily stunned. We don't need to check any... Yep, am I going to get caught here? Let's see. Oh, stupid circle, please go away. Okay. Sometimes if I get caught in one of them, I like to try and mash the buttons. I don't think it does anything, but it just makes me feel better about myself. And now there are already traps from the beginning. Yeah, fortunately he's been ordered not to kill us, and that's going to really work to our favor. So, the can surprise is in one of these cells, apparently. Sometimes these things can just spawn on you, so that can be annoying. Don't worry, we'll get you all out. Well, ideally you shouldn't want to die at all. Yeah, even if you try and get by them on the corner, you usually will still get in them. Okay. I didn't realize that you still charged at me when I was reading the dialogue. Okay. So yeah, we're getting sent back to the first floor now, annoyingly. I was probably going to get caught at least once. Oh yeah, he does usually do that. Thankfully, he stops the fight after that, but yeah, I'm going to have to heal Argilla. Oh, I'm sorry, but we are several notches better than ChatGPT. Yeah, even though he says I can't keep busting you out like this, don't worry, he will always bust you out. There is no limit to this. The third floor is by far the trickier, so don't worry if you get caught a few times on the third floor. I believe he is... Is he still... He's here, isn't he? Or is he only on the third floor? I think he's only on the third floor. I don't want to say that and then him suddenly jump scare me. That would really suck. Yeah, it does look like he's only on the third floor, though, so I can easily, Oh, I didn't actually see many of these at all. Okay. I like to show all the dialogue here. Okay, yeah, well, I mean, I was gonna say unless Daddy is in the Karma Society, it won't help, but if Daddy is in the Karma Society, it's also gonna be really bad for you. I know this dialogue is not, well, that's kind of funny at least. Usually not the most interesting, but I want to show it anyway. I feel like most people don't go around and go to all of these. Cells, I mean. Yeah, I feel like I mean, most of these games are fine, but that does feel like a homophobic joke by today's standards. That, on the other hand, is a good joke. So, yeah. Okay, yeah, the cells we've already checked are already marked on the map. Uh-oh. Oh, he's close. He's really close. Generally, you can outrun him unless you get unlucky with those spawning on you. But yeah, when you see the screen shaking... yeah. He was too close that time. But yeah, when you can feel the screen shaking, that means he's close. However, you might want to remember these attacks he's using, because, well, obviously we're going to have to fight him in a straight-up fight eventually, and, just remember that he uses Zahn's skills. Yep, he is there, okay. Hasn't seen us just yet. Thankfully, the traps don't seem to automatically alert him. I'm not sure where he is right now, and that's a recipe for disaster. No. There we go. That must be the right one. Yep, it's a fiend blob. Demon corpse. How are we carrying that? That's huge. And a key card for the last level. Yeah. A lot of this stuff is just meant to make you really hate the society and not feel bad for killing and devouring them. And now comes the trickiest part of this dungeon. At this point, Kumbhanda is standing right in front of the exits. We cannot get to our destination without provoking him into chasing us and outrunning him through that door. So, basically, you need to get him to start chasing you. There are, like, maps that show, for example, see the area that I'm in now? You can do a loop around this area, and that's what most people try and do here. Oh, okay, he's going. All right, he's going. So, annoyingly, these traps are still a thing, and they are very, very random. But the basic idea... Is he close? No, he's close. Okay, he's pretty close. Yeah, so, like, you lead him around this. Oh, he's a bit too close to me, I feel. Damn it. I don't know if it's just RNG with the traps or not. Because this is the route you're meant to take that's supposed to work, but it just, like, there were too many traps that time. Why has it always been Argilla? Well, that time it was also Roland. Okay, I got him chasing me. I have a bit of a lead this time. These traps are a mess. I feel like one's going to spawn right there. I knew it. Okay, I feel like the footsteps are getting closer. Almost there, and got it. Okay, that is the last time you need to outrun the jailer. So I guess, like, you make up for the traps by getting a head start. So yeah, now we're on this floor, and at this point, random encounters become relevant again. And the tense chase music is gone. The caution horses music, as I call it. That's a... Yet another blue diamond. So who wants more? Okay, I've got a sapphire too. +3 to a random stat. Let's take that on the vital ring. Magic by 3, nice. Let's put +2 vitality on the power ring. Yeah, random encounters are back here. Oh, okay, that's a new demon, but I also am in Rakshasa mode. Still not dead, though. And we got him. I feel like Surf hasn't leveled up in a while. Let's go 3 on magic. And yeah, the reason why we don't have to go through the jailer minigame again is because there's a warp terminal here. So we can just skip back to the top floor of the prison. Resistance to all magic, huh? How do you feel about a massive magic stat and Aguilau? Yeah, you seem to not like that very much. Oh, that's a cool animation. Uh-oh. Yep, that's a weakness. Almost on Earth Temple done. So you don't get a ton of opportunity to master new mantras before the boss of this dungeon. Although it's probably the reason why they give you the field hunt. I'm just trying to map out this whole room. Okay, Rakshasa mode again. Frightened, huh? Interesting. We're still doing about the same amount of damage, though. Yeah, I wonder if that overrides the accuracy penalty for being in Rakshasa mode. Oh yeah, I blocked that because of the He-Ho ring. Nice. Wow, that's... that damage is insane. That's less body rush and more body impale. I think I will go for... I'll just fill out this corner. I do want to master Agila's mantra before I hit that terminal. They said that makes MP draining skills more potent, being muted, I mean, but like that didn't still seem to do much. There we go, Tarazi, Avalanche, and Earth Repel. Okay, now we just mute you. Yeah, for the sake of efficiency, I'm gonna go here before I go to the terminal, because we'll be warping back at the terminal anyway. Yeah, oh, by the way, a late gore warning, kind of. It's very, you know, PS2 era, fairly low poly gore, but, kind of reminds me of Resident Evil 1, honestly, which I find more funny than scary, but this is definitely nightmarish, like, in terms of the implications, wow. There's definitely a bit more, like, I guess, overt horror elements in the sequel, probably because we're dealing with real people getting eaten rather than AIs. We'll be back here, though. There's a lot of cans on top of the table, and our job is to replace one of them. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay, thankfully it wasn't the jailer. Okay, well, that's disturbing. Again, basically you're not meant to feel bad about fighting any of these guys. So, 2 horses and a cat. Okay, then. Okay, yep, sorry, I was dumb there. I can make up for it by using the right element here. It always sucks when enemies get frightened, at the end of a turn. Purest fire, flame breath. To quote that mistranslation of Fire Emblem 7 that I often quote. Uh-oh, don't hit Surf, please. Oh, missed completely. Nice. Okay. In this case, let me see. What's here? We haven't actually... Nah, Primal Dance is not great right now. So I guess I will, It's weird that I took Surf's ice skills off. Oh, that's because of Hecaton. Okay. Okay, so how about we deploy Roland over Argilla? You can hit the Zeo Witness. And then we can Medea, actually. Do I have any ice attack items? I have 3 Ice Blasts. Let's go for that. I'm kind of glad I didn't get a freeze there, because if I did, then it would have been wasted. Yeah, so you'll see there that negative press turn effects override positive ones. Because the Flame Breath missed Roland, that overrode the weakness hit on Surf, and the enemy still lost 2 press turns, rather than gaining any blinking press turns. So yeah, they try to fake you out into thinking that the Jailer's going to come down here, but he's not. But that right there was actually a hint of what we need to do next. We need to put this Demon Corpse in the processing machine. Even though they kind of already implied that was what you needed to do. Okay, Earth Temple done. So our next destination is either Karma, which I already have on some... No, nobody has Sukukaja. So that's possible. Also Earth Lord, but that's too expensive. Let's go for Sukukaja. We'll need Yakuza eventually, though. This right here, Arcane and Illusion. I do want Gale to get into that point eventually. So maybe I'm going a little redundant right now with my skills on Agila, but having Sukukaja will be nice, though. So from here, we teleport to Interment Facility 1. And actually, also, I haven't saved yet. So yeah, that machine, remember earlier, didn't have power, so we need to use the key to get in here. To get into the control room. And thankfully, right in front of us is the switch for the meat processing machine. And I mentioned earlier that the song for this dungeon has a very strange theme. It's called Meat Processing Plant. I don't know why, but whoever wrote that probably also wrote a lot of Chie's dialogue in Persona 4. I wonder what Chie would think of this. Actually, apparently there is actually a fanfic out there of, like a Digital Devil Saga AU of Persona 4. It does go a lot darker than the game kind of does. Granted, this game does go into fairly dark places with it, but it's still ultimately, like, actually not that overall gory or anything. I feel like a lot of, like, DDS fiction out there, for what little fanfic there is of this, generally does go into the darker implications a lot more. And I'm not hugely a fan of that. But anyway, Gyuki, Null Death, Weak to Earth, and Poison. I think I will still put Ice back on Surf. Just because it feels weird him not having Ice. But I do like him having Earth too. I guess he has so much MP that I don't really need to do ingest mana. Also, I am dumb. I forgot to actually do what we came here for, and that's to inspect the meat processor now that it's actually working. Yep, let's throw that blob in. Hello, blob. It's time for your wonderful journey to begin. It is time to play Can Your Pet Blob Edition. No comment. And this is when I said you should maybe pay attention to those conveyor belts. I don't think I'll bother with this. I had a feeling that would fail. And yeah, they still have power charge. So pretty early enemy to be having power. Could you let me run, please? Could you let me run, please? Yeah, unfortunately, attempting to run uses up your entire turn, so I can't, like, have somebody run, and if that fails, have Cielo heal. There it goes! A strange chunk of meat is moving down the conveyor. I do like how they use the fact that, like, eating blobs or, like, slime-based enemies give you a stomachache in the first game. Well, it sometimes gives you a stomachache. It's more likely to give you a stomachache in the first game, but you get the idea. They're alluding to the stomachache mechanics and making them a plot point in this fight, in this dungeon. Like, it's a pretty short dungeon, but it does what it needs to. It kind of straddles the line between a dungeon and a minigame, in my opinion. Because a lot of it is centered around the whole run away from the jailer segment. Which, I will admit, like, if you're playing this for the first time and don't know that they can't kill you, I mean, he was killing, unless he does start going for all three of them if you take too long, like, if you get caught by him more and more, but I don't know. I still love how the Nekomatas get caught T-posing in mid-air if they're, frozen or stunned. Shocked, I mean. But, like, this does remind me a lot of, something that I often talk about on this channel is, like, a game that used to really scare me as a kid was Rayman 2. When you go to the Cave of Bad Dreams for the first time, the Guardian tells you that, like, he's gonna give you a head start, but if he catches you, he'll show no mercy. And, like, I was really terrified you were on time pressure with that, but it turns out that, no, it's just there's a scripted escape sequence with him at the end of the dungeon, that's all. There's no real time limit. But, like, not knowing that, it is really scary. And I can understand if somebody is playing this for the first time, especially when the jailer keeps threatening to eat you if he catches you, like, I would be pretty scared if I was playing this and didn't know that it was actually harmless. And here we go, we have finally got our canned surprise. The one thing in the entire SMT multiverse that is worse than Chie and Yukiko's cooking. Yeah, I really hope that I see that special encounter, because I know that it can start appearing in this dungeon. There's two of them, actually. They can appear in any dungeon in the game, and the earlier I see the first of the two, the better. It would have been amazing if it was that encounter. Oh right, I need to give Gyuki and Nekomata's Demon Lore. Well, while I'm on Surf's level up screen, Gyuki is also known as an Ushi Oni, a monster with the head of a bull and the body of a spider. Nekomatas, I believe, are Japanese yokai, or bakeneko, or monster cat, a type of yokai that appears as a cat with supernatural abilities, akin to those of the fox or raccoon dog. Also the Nue's Demon Lore. It has the head of a monkey, the arms and legs of a tiger, body of a raccoon dog, and a snake for a tail. It's a legendary Japanese monster. I'll go for 2 vitality and 1 magic. Oh, also the troll. The troll, I believe, comes from Scandinavian folklore. It's generally just a big, brutish monster that often eats people. And nowadays, the term internet troll has become pretty ubiquitous, but, in fact, I actually think that term originates from less the monster, although the monster is definitely appropriate, but more from the fact that, like, of the idea of trolling for fish. The idea of, like, fishing for something. Like the way that trolls provoke somebody to try and get a reaction. Like, I believe the original term was trolling for noobs, like posting things, hoping that, you know, intentionally bait inexperienced players into making comments that they can then make fun of. So okay, we're gonna teleport down to the internment facility 2. And before we save, we're gonna get ready. So, Argilla is not gonna be great here. Unfortunately, she's my only Tarunda user right now, I think. Okay, Gale has Tarukaja, but yeah, she is my only Tarunda user. This boss has some pretty brutal physical attacks, but Argilla is weak to Force. However, if I have Gale, he can set up Void Force. But you might not need to deal with Force at all, because there's a strange quirk of this boss that I might want to show, but I also might not, because it's a bit of a double-edged sword. I suppose since we just got Roland, I should probably bring him. Actually, Ciello's good too, I just realized. I suppose I can start with Argilla and then bring Ciello in later. Because, okay, you do want to bring Void Force for this, and also Zeo, because this boss is weak to Zeo. And also, strangely, Mucka Jam. With my preps done, now I've saved. Oh, we have the Vanity combo already. Vile Blade, Mucka Jama on. Inflict ailments, almighty all. I believe that's an ailment skill on 2 or more characters. Let's try this. Because it's almighty, it doesn't actually count for ailment weaknesses. So that was actually pretty bad. It didn't do anything and I wasted 2 press turns. But yeah, it not counting for ailment weaknesses can be a good thing when using Cielo, but a bad thing when you're fighting enemies that are weak to ailments. Also, Vanity's name is very interesting, because in Japanese, it loosely translates to form is emptiness, which comes from a Buddhist saying that generally refers to like the meaninglessness and futility of the physical world. But what's interesting is that the localization seems to have attempted to go with an equivalent Christian phrase, because it seems to, it comes from a Bible passage that talks about everything is vanity. Which, again, does have a very similar meaning about the sort of fleetingness of the physical world. So, given that, you know, the Shin Megami Tensei localizers probably know they do a lot of research on religion, that was probably intentional. I guess they felt that it would be a little more understandable to a Western audience than that Buddhist thing. Like, you know, you've probably heard of form as emptiness, emptiness is form from Trails of Cold Steel, but it's not used in the Buddhist way there at all. So, okay. When the jailer eats this, he should get sick. Are you ready? Yeah. Basically, they're saying that we're going to get thrown to the boss fight right after we place this trapped can. So, let's hide. And wait for the inevitable. Funnily enough, this is the one time the jailer ever comes down to this floor. And here it is. Actually, Gale just reminded me I need to buy more of those. So, now we're facing off against Kumbhanda. Kumbhanda is a type of a lesser evil spirit from Buddhist lore. They suck the life out of humans, which fits for this context, and are servants of the southern member of the 4 heavenly kings, Zorchoten. But in terms of actual combat abilities, he nulls Force, Death, Expel, Charm, Poison, Panic, and Nerve, and is weak to electricity and mutes. Not technically, but he's vulnerable to mute and it has a 200% chance of working. He also uses Zanma, and he uses Zan skills. He can still do Black Bind, but it has a lower chance of success, only 50%. It's still really bad if it hits you, because anybody who's binded, I believe, gets auto-crit by his physical attacks. Of which he can still use when he's muted, and this is why I feel the mute strategy is a double-edged sword, especially because Gorge drains HP. And it drains double the amount if the target is inflicted with Bind. So again, a bit of a double-edged sword. I'm going to try Maka Jam just to show it off. Okay, that one didn't work. There we go. Yeah, he's actually vulnerable to being muted. But it does force him into using his physical. He might end up wasting turns trying to use magic, though. Nope, he is still attacking. Yeah, he can't use Black Bind while he's muted. So I'll get a Tarunda in, and then I might swap out Argilla. Okay, I can put a second Turrender on, even though it will be diminishing returns. And you're going to use your turn to deploy CLO over Argilla. So I can get a little bit more elect damage in. He always says this even if he's not muted, but yeah, Gorge is a pain. 47 healing is actually pretty rough to out-damage at this point in the game, so that's why I kind of prefer him not to, prefer not muting him. Because if you take away his turns with Void Force shields, yeah, I've only just barely out-damaged that healing, then I feel like that's usually a little bit more efficient of a way to deal with him than muting him. Should I Medea here, or I think I can afford to keep pummeling him with Zeo. This guy can actually be a pretty rough fight in your first playthrough if you don't know how he works. Magic is still sealed. Actually, in this game, I'm pretty sure mute is permanent in this game until you dispel it, so I don't think he'll be able to use any of his magic at all, which, again, is something of a double-edged sword. But I am showing this because this is the only boss in the game, I believe, that's vulnerable to mute. As somebody who has suffered from this kind of thing in the past, I kind of sympathize here, to be honest. Let's actually heal this time. It's like, they also say that your comrades will be devouring you soon. Are they implying they're going to leave this guy to be eaten by his own Karma Society people? Maybe not, because I do think we get AP from this fight. And nope. But yeah, Gorge is a massive pain. My first time trying this fight, I did not bring Void Force, and it went very badly. I also didn't know he could be muted. It's, like, generally speaking, like, I wish there was something in the game that hints at it, because there's really no indicator that mute works. It's sort of a bit of an Easter egg for people who just try everything. Not down yet. Please don't use Gorge. Just attacking is fine. That's fine. No Gorge, please. Oh, wow, that killed him. Okay. I like how he tips his hat there, almost like Honchkrow in Pokemon Go. Yeah, we still get AP, though, so it's implied, I guess we ate a bit of him and left the rest for the, his comrades. We also got a Blood Ruby. Literally made of blood in this case, probably. Raving Slash, Critical, Quick Cure, Gale Learn, Resolution. That's actually a new ability. I said that last time. Ulimpa, yes! Stun Sphere, Void Panic, Void Nerve. And Surf got the same skills. Level up to Gale, level up to Cielo, and that is all.
Okay. Adil's gonna raise some hell in the city. Then we can grab the cyber... We can save Sarah. She's being held in a medical room inside the main tower.
I'm not a kid. I can figure out what happened. Why do I still have this stupid thing?
What shall I tell your child?
Tell him to become a man of honor. You'll be carrying an olive leaf.
Fred, where did you get that?
My dad gave it to me. Olive leaves are symbols of peace. But I'm too old for that now. I gotta grow up so I can be strong.
Fred. I have a message from Lupa, your father. He told me that he wants you to grow up as an honest child.
You knew my dad?
Be proud of your feelings, Fred. It's okay to be a kid.
So now we know who Lupa's child was. But in this world, he was not named Lupa. Just had the more mundane name Greg. So was that AI Lupa based on the real Greg, or, like Varen implied, did he somehow get uploaded into the simulation or something? We might find out later, but it's still nice to have that connection. Oh, people realize what they were doing, but, like, honestly, at this point, the only people left are, like, the society and the people the society is hunting, so it's not like it would really do much for this information to become public. And yep, that's justifying the fact there'll be still random encounters in there. We will need to return to the processing plant eventually for an optional quest. So now we've freed most of the people here. About that, let's not tell them we're friends with her. I was half expecting that guy to be one of those people who takes offense to that. They're like, no, I do taste incredible. I mean, sort of. Granted, Lupa had all of the gear of the junkyard on, so he probably looked different in the real world. So now we're able to access the main part of the city. And yeah, so Fred's father was the founder of the Lokapala. But he died in the real world. And sadly we were forced to kill him in the junkyard, so he wasn't able to come back to life, I guess? It is actually interesting here that Gale lied to Fred to spare his feelings, because we're about to have some little side event coming up that sort of contradicts that. But yes, we have access to the world map now. Same music as back in the junkyard, but we've got a totally new area. We can head back to the underground city, we can head to an urban area, the processing dome, Sala Park, or the administrative district. That's our actual destination. The rest of them are just for flavor. But I think we'll take care of exploring in the next part, because we just won a pretty big victory for the Lokapala, so I think it's time to take a break. Next time, we will be exploring Karma City, seeing what's changed in the underground city, and invading the Karma Society's home turf. See you all then.